Jump in.
Where are you going?
Jump in.
What about my bag?
That's right, bring it with you.
Where are you going?
Or just chuck it in the front door and jump in. So guys, we're going to catch up. Is that a bug? We're going to catch up. The wife doesn't know this is planned. I figured that we'd see how we go with a bit of a Thursday night adventure, since tomorrow's a public holiday, and make a short vid while we're at it. Forgot though, it gets dark now at 6 o'clock, so I don't know how this drive will go and whether or not it'll be entertaining enough for you guys, but we'll see. I'm kind of just giving away where I live, but that's alright, I'll just blur that out later. How's work?
Yeah, it was alright. It was quiet and then it was busy.
That's good. Alright, so anyway guys, I normally spend when I used to drive the Sea Line, I always drove around in sports mode pretty much. That's kind of my mode of transportation.
What on earth was that?
Oh, that's telling me I'm speeding. Alright, so update. I think people will want to know what's going on with the shark. I think that's the first call to arms. So shark's all good, repairable, and we should have it back here in Victoria by the first week of May, the next month, so 2 to 3 weeks away. The big hold up is actually spare parts, which
is not a secret to anyone.
Which is not a secret to anyone, no. Pretty much we just need to try and find a front bar, which is going to be half the exercise. So if anyone's got a blue shark front bar that they have laying around after they had their BYD bull bar put on or something like that, get in contact. I'd probably be interested in buying it if it's in Queensland. But yes, so, and then once it gets to Victoria, I'm going to take it down to a VAS engineer for them to basically check over it. So your standard safety stuff. From what it looks like, steering component, suspension, everything on the chassis is fine because it's not affected. Like, everything's still where it should be. The geometry is all correct, but that means obviously I still need to fly up and collect the car and drive it back and whatnot. One thing I do want to point out is while it's been up there, and you guys might have already seen this on the channel, we've been playing around a little bit with Shark. You could probably see that we've now got the rear wheels turning basically on a remote control, and we have done a small road test with an EV only mode where it can drive with no pedal input at all. So that's accelerating and braking using full regen. We've got max regen, so it's basically like a lot more regen braking occurring, but there's probably reasons why BYD haven't adopted this natively, e.g. one pedal driving, but we'll talk more on that once I'm back in Queensland and we're actually testing this. We'll have the computer out plugged in to spy on the car, and we can show you guys what kind of information's being shared between the VCU and the rear inverter. Now, something that we did discover, and I'll just be very, very brief on this point. We know why the rear wheels are not turning going up hills, and why it works perfectly fine off-road in gradients that are kind of like 25 degrees, and that is simply because the car computer always sends exactly the same torque request to the front and torque request to the back when it's driving off-road. Now, when you're off-road and you're climbing hills, you actually don't want that, because when you're climbing, your rear axle takes a lot more load because of the weight shift when you're climbing, and technically when the front wheel starts losing traction, it's actually telling both the front and rear motors to pull power at the same time. So what it should happen, it should only tell the front to pull power and allow the rear to continue powering at a higher amount of torque, and it doesn't do this. So this is actually the problem. There's no and it could be simply because it was marketed as an all-wheel drive vehicle, not a four-wheel drive vehicle, because I find it hard to believe the Chinese have not taken this very simple physics into equation. Now, we might be able to fix this because we're going to have a gadget where we can dial up extra power to the rear motors when we're on a hill in this configuration, and we'll prove if it's fixable or not. Whether or not then, if we can prove that it is fixable, if BYD will actually translate this and bring an update out mainstream for Shark owners, that's kind of...
I don't see why they wouldn't, considering they've been listening.
But my thing is, though, they market it as an all-wheel drive vehicle, and I feel like they know about this. They didn't do it natively, so there must be a reason. There's got to be a reason. You don't have a perfectly good car product and pull that feature away. So, but that doesn't matter. We're going to figure that out. That's going to be for another video. Let's get to the Sea-Line. So we're taking the Sea-Line for a bit of a drive this evening. So you've driven it for the last, by you, I mean my wife has driven it for the last 3,000 Ks probably.
Something like that.
To and from work. She's enjoyed the life of the Sea-Line while I've been enjoying the life of the Shark.
What I don't enjoy now is the fact that my car is screaming at me that it needs fuel.
So, yeah, so you as someone who's been driving a normal car for so long, then you got to drive this car. Because I said, you may as well drive a Sea-Line. It's not been driven, just drive it. You drove it for a month and a half. Then getting back into your other car, what was it like?
I do like my other car. I do like my Audi.
I get that. I know. We always like our cars, but what are some of those things that stood out from you switching back?
The fact that I don't have to fill it up with fuel.
Plug it in and charge every night, right?
Yeah.
It's cheap too.
It's like, obviously that would be different if I was working further away, like if I have to drive to Dramana or whatever. I'm using fuel, obviously.
Yeah.
Not always, sometimes, depending on traffic and whatnot.
Yeah.
But just in general, going to and from work 10 minutes down the road, it's like you don't use much fuel at all.
It's good, isn't it? It's good.
Yeah. And because I'm only working 5 days a fortnight, I don't really have to charge at all. Like, I don't have to put it on charge until like the weekend.
That's so good. Driving like that, it's like it's cheap, guys. You got to realize, we pay 22 cents per kilowatt hour. You can do about 100 kilometers for every 16 kilowatt hours. So it's 22 cents multiplied by 16. What's the math there, darling?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person.
I'm just saying, it'll be a few dollars, like $3 or $4. But my point is, that's great. You don't even have to pull into a servo, and you plug in as soon as you get home, and that's how much it costs to do that type of distance in this car. One big thing that stood out to me, jumping in this car out of the Shark and driving the Shark for 14,000 kilometers and jumping back in here, the fuel efficiency, the electric efficiency. This car's 2.2 tonne, because it's the Sea-Line 6 Premium, four-wheel drive variant, and the Shark is 2.7 tonne. This is like without passengers and any load on board. This is still about 2.2 tonne, because this is stock of the rock, where the Shark is now about 3.1 tonne, with roof racks, all my extra modifications, light bars, Starlink, batteries, fridges. That's my touring weight that I basically have in all the time. And that's, if you look at the difference in fuel, this is doing about 5 litres to 100 on petrol if I never plug it in. The Shark was doing about 12 litres to 100 if I never plugged it in.
The sound system in this car is a lot better than the one in mine, though.
Yeah, surprisingly, the sound system is pretty good, guys. So I don't know.
I'm pretty sure the speakers are blown in my car.
Your car?
Yeah.
Too much loud music.
Too much loud music. Although I think the gain is turned up too high in the subwoofer, because it like rattles my windows.
Yeah, okay.
And it sounds terrible.
So anyway, guys, what is this car for? I use this car. It's a great daily driver. It's good for driving around town. You could tour in this car, so you could put some all-terrains to the standard size tyres into this car, and then you could go drive to Queensland. You'd be fine, absolutely fine. You put in fuel, you probably get an average of maybe 6 litres, 6.5 litres to 100 on the freeway, my guess. If you don't know, and a lot of people don't know, EVs, so cars that are driven by electric motors as primary drive, are more efficient at lower speeds than it is at higher speeds, unlike legacy cars.
How much did I use the other day? What day was it? Whenever I drove Caleb to his mum's, and it was at 40% state of charge. And I think I only used 20 litres, maybe not even.
For the trip?
Yeah.
That sounds high.
That probably is high, actually.
That doesn't make
But
sense.
it was state of charge at 40. It wasn't state of charge 70.
But what's that got to do with the fuel?
Because
Break down the math for me so I understand.
I don't actually understand how it works, but I looked at I think it was the manual I looked at. Higher state of charge is better for when you don't have option for charging. Better for fuel economy.
Higher state of charge is better if you don't think you can fuel up, and then you switch it to a low state of charge setting when you're
When you can
near
charge
your
at
destination. Yeah, that's correct. A lot of people actually say no, you should take it down to 25 when you're driving. If you know you can go your distance to your next charger within your full EV range, then stay in EV. But if you're going to actually not have a charger, then you're better off setting your state of charge to like 70, driving in HEV, or 50 to 70%, driving in HEV, and then once you get near your destination where you'll have a charger, then go into EV only and drain it all the way down. That's the best way. It's always better to keep charge, your cycling happening at a higher state of charge.
I feel like I was using fuel while driving there more because the state of charge was lower. I should have turned the state of charge up higher.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, guys, you can just drive in auto, okay? Like, if you don't, you can buy this car and be a complete car noob and just drive auto, HEV. EV, you got a toggle switch down here at the bottom. You choose when you want to be an electric. You choose when you're going to be hybrid. And just remember this one rule. If you're going to drive longer than about 70 or 80 k's an distance, go in HEV. If you're going to be driving less than 70 kilometers of distance in that day before your next charge, drive in EV.
I have a question.
Did I say that right? HEV for above 70, EV under 70 to your next charger.
Yeah, because you wouldn't need to charge that.
Now, I am fairly sure I'm going to be doing less than 50-ish kilometres. I'm at 80% at the moment. I don't know if you guys can see that on the charger, but that one there is 80%. I will go into HEV, though, in a little bit, because we're going to show you how this little gizmo thing works.
How do you change that?
This is actually saying at the moment that I'm doing 15.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, and that equates to, if I didn't have charge and needed to run the petrol engine, or the car needed to run the petrol engine, that would use 4.3 litres of fuel. So it's basically saying I would need 4.3 litres per 100 to drive if I continue driving like I have for the last 50 kilometres in this car, which is really good.
I wanted to see.
It's really good.
I couldn't figure out. I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see the when I was in HEV mode or when I was in using battery.
And that's what EV cars are good for, the launch.
I couldn't figure it out. All I could see was that maths thing there, and I didn't want to see that. And I know I've seen you have the car on the screen.
Oh, you want to go which setting?
Yeah, but I couldn't. Oh, it's a scroll.
Yes, it is a scroll.
Oh.
That one?
Yeah, I wanted to see that, and I couldn't figure it out.
The other thing is too, guys, when you're driving at slower speeds, in the city, you get regen, okay? So you're getting you're braking, the electric engine's regen is putting charge back into your batteries. And that's why you actually do get a better range at slower speeds as well. We haven't got much daylight left, guys, so I do apologise about how everything's looking. So as soon as it gets too dark, we'll stop this video, but we'll go as long as we can.
Going to be back before 7:30?
The football? Yes, we'll be back by 7:30. I just wanted to catch up with you guys. I thought you'd come for a drive.
Yeah.
So you can, in case you didn't know, you can go into sports mode. This is sports mode without petrol. So this is an EV sports mode. Left foot on the brake, right foot down on the accelerator, and as soon as the lights go green, take your left foot off.
Oh, Jesus.
But obviously, now you can also do this in HEV mode, which preloads the engine. So what it does, it'll actually start the engine even though you're at the lights, and it'll take off in sports mode. It is definitely a better launch. I can tell you right now, had I done that in the Shark going up Beer O'Clock Hill, we probably would have made it to the moon. But too early? Too early? This will stay like this because it's measuring my 0 to 100, and I'm not going to get 100 k's an hour, obviously, so it's not going to... How do I exit out of this? Oh, that's the radio. Can I exit out of this?
What are you trying to exit out of?
This. Launch mode. I don't think we'll be on a road that will do 100 k's an hour, so I can't actually show you guys that. But there's plenty of other videos, and there's even a video I have about how to use launch control. It also, the Shark does have launch control. This car has launch control. The original version of this, you can only do launch control in HEV mode, but now for some reason they've allowed it in EV only mode as well, so that's good. I feel like everyone's speeding but me. I feel left out. So what else? So 20,000 k ownership. The CV issue's been solved. It wasn't actually a CV issue. Some cover that sits on the side of the electric motor that needed to be taken off and cleaned. They cleaned that, put it back on. Problem hasn't come back. This has probably been about 1,000 k's out of service, and it's been really good. Quiet, whisper quiet at the front, no issues whatsoever. So in terms of issues, haven't had any. We've had concerns, so like the noise. With the noise with the clicking when we were turning at roundabouts at slow speed, but that was related to the plate not being clean that they cleaned. They did that in the service, the issue's gone. Anything else we've had where there's been a problem that we wanted investigated, BYD have eventually solved it. Okay, and it hasn't cost us anything. And BYD did call me and assured me that if we had a situation where we had a car that had a problem due to warranty, we would very likely get a loan car for that whole duration. So yeah, we can go into HEV mode now. It's 80 k's, but again, I can't get to 100 because that's not the speed limit. But you hear that? Don't know if you heard that. The petrol engine is now started. I'm in HEV mode. It just preloads the engine, so it's ready to go as soon as you take off. That's 80. So that's not bad. 0 to 50 kilometers an hour, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. You got Sarah's stomach's not very happy.
No, not at all.
Go back into EV only mode. So anyway, that's actually really quick. 0 to 50 kilometers an hour in 2 seconds. That's funny. Look, I love the C-Line. Don't get me wrong, guys. I'm a camper and four-wheel driver at heart. So that noise. I don't know if you guys can hear a vibrating noise.
What is that?
It's this thing. You can't see it on the camera, I don't think. But the sunglasses holder vibrates in this car when there's nothing in it, and it drives me actually insane that I have to stick something in there. If you guys haven't seen, you can side load apps onto this thing. I've got a video showing how to side load apps. So we've got YouTube, Discord, Waze, Netflix, and all that. I primarily use it to get Waze on here because I prefer Waze mapping instead of Google mapping. Waze is really, really good.
Even though it's the same.
It is the same, but it's not. Probably should look at doing a U-turn before we can't get back home in time.
I mean, it's only 6.
Oh, this car just so enjoyable to drive. I've always had like high performance kind of cars as I was growing up in my young adult life. V8s, loved it. It's weird, I thought I would always hate a car that doesn't have any sound. The first major thing that was apparent to me when I got into this car after we broke it in, it's 2,000 k's in sports mode, is the fact that I've got no way to downshift. Coming into a roundabout hot and wanting to exit the roundabout hot with no way to downshift just feels so wrong to me. But I've just gotten used to it. I reckon a better regen would be good, like sports mode regen would be really, really handy. But you do get used to it, so I think I've been converted officially. With the Sharks driving and this car, I can't see myself ever buying another petrol car ever again, unless it was like old school petrol and wanted to like a project. That's a bit different. But hear that skidding?
Oh,
Good traction.
Christ.
It's good traction.
Oh, I don't feel very well.
The like the all-wheel drive in this is nice. Like it's not crappy, you know. There's no real under or oversteer. The tyres, the stock tyres aren't as good, I must admit. But I've still got them on, and almost 20,000 Ks. I just want to wear them down and not waste them, that's all. My driving always makes my wife ill on these windies, doesn't it?
This one is not too bad, but I just don't feel well for some weird reason.
Oh, this is 100 here. We could do a 0 to 100 if we could find one.
There's no way you're going to stop here.
What I can do is actually show them something though. So hang on. So something I have noticed in the Shark, which I never got to actually showing you guys on the way back from Queensland, is when we're on a flat terrain and we're cruising on the highway. So wait, we got a roundabout. But what I was going to, what I can show you is basically how much power the engine draws when we're flat when I'm braking the wind. Than if I sit behind, say, a car 2 seconds behind. So not necessarily close to the car in front of me, but 2 seconds behind them, how much it takes off the draw of the electricity. It's actually crazily insane. You can get so much more range if you followed someone else. So 50 k's an hour, pick up to 100. Not bad. It could be better. This is electric only though. Unlike the Shark, I feel like the Shark's full EV power is much better than the Sea Lion. Even though it's heavier, it definitely pulls better. It's getting dark now. High beams check, guys. That's the high beams on this. Don't know if that helps anyone. I'm sure there's thousands of videos on the Sea Lion now that you don't need this particular bit of information, but in case you're just searching, you're thinking about buying a Sea Lion 6 now, this might serve as good information.
I've noticed that they did an update in the app.
Which app?
The BYD app. You can change between cars now.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Also, you don't have to have blue lights. If you guys want
the key is
pink lights or whatever you want, you can have pink, you can have blue.
You're not using the key though,
purple. No, I'm using my phone to unlock it.
Because the key is set to pink.
Is this 80?
I noticed. Because when I got
an 80 sign, hold on.
I don't know if you set it that way deliberately because I was going to be driving it, but I got in the car with the key and it
changed it to pink.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, I thought color code's a key. I didn't know that. Yeah. Anyway, so I guess have a happy Easter, everyone,
and stay safe.
And stay safe.